I'm sorry, are you addressing me? Because your authority is not recognized in Fort Kickass.
Are not rubbers. Oh my god. Okay, yes, you can rub them, but just please don't hurt my family.
I mean, we're not robbers.
Oh.
Hi, this is Harry from Five.
This is Brian from One Man Standing.
This is Meg from Shake the Sun.
This is Jess from Shoes Lab.
You're listening to Dr. Bones.
Dr. Bones and Mike. Dr. Bones and Mike.
And you're listening to New Music Saturdays.
This is Martin from Dylan Rock.
JJ from Juxta.
Hey, this is Leslie
And Jason.
of The Sweetest Condition. New Music Saturday.
Music Saturday.
New Music Saturday.
New Music Saturday.
And you're listening to New Music Saturdays.
New Music Saturday. Dr. Bones and Mike. New Music Saturday.
Right on. This is Dr. Bones and the guitarist everybody wish they were, Mike1inFive. And our musical guest tonight is, we know we're a little bit late going, we finished just a little bit later than normal. And we had a few Skype issues, but we got them working now. So welcome back to the show, and it's been a long time. Jeff Trainer, who is Western Jaguar, welcome back to the show, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. It has been a long time.
Yeah, and the last time we were talking about I think it was probably winter tickets. We were talking about the Canucks and stuff like that because I think we were watching hockey or the playoffs at the time.
Back when the Canucks were actually good and the Leafs were crap. Now it's the opposite.
Well, don't give them that much credit. They're getting better, but they're not that good yet. Spoken like a true fan, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
So, man, well, the new album. Or is it already out? Jeff?
It came, yeah, July 20th.
Oh my God! I don't know one thing ahead. I'm thinking of another album. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
July 28th it came out.
My bad. No, sorry, because there's so much money. The point being is I really enjoyed listening to it, and it just for me it's been a while since I've heard like new stuff from you. I mean, I still listen to the older albums, but it was cool for me because it was yet another kind of different spin on the way you wrote your songs, because each album I've noticed like little different changes and that sort of thing, and it was nice to hear yet another kind of subtle but cool change. So how do you think you've evolved since the past few albums?
Well, this one was definitely more. I think the word I keep using or coming back to is like collaborative. So with this album, I wrote with the people who play live with me. So they were involved in all aspects of kind of shaping the songs into what they were, making decisions about how we're going to record them, where we're going to record them, what kind of things we're going to add in. So I think that was the biggest change with this album. And it also gave that album more of a feel to what we do when we're playing live. The other ones are more kind of, I guess, more quote-unquote studio albums that were hard to replicate live. This is kind of pretty darn close.
Right on. You know what? It just this time around too. Your song titles always get me because they're always so unique, and like and we'll get to some of them in a few minutes, just because I wonder where they come from. You always kind of give me a background on it, but it's still kind of interesting because they're not songs you normally song titles you normally hear, and that's what makes it so interesting. So just before we get to our first song here, I'm gonna pass it over to Mike.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I realised we said that off air, but I thought I'd be formal. So I'm a bit of a newcomer to Western Jaguar, so I obviously wasn't on the show last time you came on for that, and I hadn't heard, apart from we might have played something earlier in the year on a Friday Night Rock show or something like that, but I haven't heard a lot by you. But what really, really strikes me is there's a few things, but I was sitting in the car actually earlier, playing lists to my wife and my son, and they're like, "Oh, who's this?" And I said, "I'm interviewing this guy tonight, so I'm just doing my research." and my wife surprised me because she's got a pretty good taste in music generally, But she still surprises me, and she goes, "Do you know who it reminds me of?" I was like, "Who's that?" She said, "The Jesus and Mary chain."
Oh man!
And I was like, "That's awesome, actually. That's a really, really good comparison." But I suppose my question is like that's kind of what we couldn't hear anything else after that. In fact, we then after we played you 2 or 3 times went to play Jesus and Mary chain. But who are your sort of influences and with the bands that you draw inspiration from, I suppose?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never got the Jesus and Mary Train one. That's a first one. So
it was really interesting because as soon as she said it, I was like, yeah, I can absolutely hear that, but I wouldn't necessarily have picked it out automatically. But yeah,
no,
I think it was Stoned and Dethroned was their second album, and you got a real thing going. I think it was your vocal and the way that the guitars work and stuff like that. Just hits for some reason.
No, I'm gonna have to add that because people always ask like, "What do you sound like band-wise?" and we have no idea what to put down, and that's actually a pretty good one. But yeah, in terms of what I listen to, like for this album, it's kind of weird because it doesn't really correlate too well with what's on the album. But I've listened to a ton of The War on Drugs, Ryan Adams, so like almost like Springsteen, like dad rock.
Nice.
It's called nowadays, dad rock. And I've been really enjoying that a lot. Kind of the layering of it, because there's lots of layering in that, and I find I do a lot of layering in my music as well.
Yeah, nice. There's definitely depth in it, so I can definitely see how that. I won't lie to you, I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan, but I get why people. I get why people are influenced by it because there is like real depth and in terms of songwriting, he's a pretty smart person, really.
Yeah, my goal in life is to have my own E Street band. I just want a big horn section.
Yeah. Who would be in your E Street band?
Oh God, like, on the spot. Could they be like Dead?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, because
I want like Louis Armstrong like running it for sure.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't care beyond that. Well, him and maybe John Coltrane. Like those are 2 cornerstones. Yeah.
Oh, nice. What about have you got a percussion section? I'm totally riffing on this because I didn't expect you to say the E Street band. So now we're just going to go. Go on, take us through the whole band. Let's see who.
I don't even know. Like percussion, that's hard. Like I'm one of those bad people who doesn't care enough to like learn percussion in bands. On the spot, and now people will know that. I apologize to our drummer AJ Buckley. I apologize.
I love that. That's cool. How would you describe your? So for me, it was kind of when we were chatting about it, we were sort of saying it's kind of indie. It's a bit poppy. I thought your bass player is excellent, by the way. I thought he really.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I mean, you're all great, but it really stood out. But yeah, what do you? It's always like, what genre do you call yourself?
Yeah,
what shit question, but you know what I mean. How would you describe your music to someone you've never met before?
Yeah, it's really hard because you get that because that's kind of what people want to base things on. They don't want to be like, oh yeah, here, just listen to one of my songs and you decide. They're like, no, like tell me the genre and I'll decide if I want to listen to it. So it's kind of a hard one. I feel like we use that banner of indie rock all the time, but I don't think it's a really good fit. We've kind of talked about, what have we talked about? We've talked about kind of like art rock or art pop kind of, but even that doesn't really fit too well. So I'm not really sure. Like we definitely do have that kind of pop sensibility a lot of the times, but there's still kind of that roughness, that abrasiveness of, I guess, like alternative or hardcore rock. So it's kind of this mix of like that pop songwriting style, but also like a bit of like abrasiveness.
Yeah, I suppose that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because when you think of pop, you automatically think of kind of clean.
Yeah.
But it's not. I know what you mean. The songwriting structure. There's some classic songwriting elements in there. And actually, those bands that you mentioned are all good. The thing that they all have in common is the strength of the songwriting, right? Rather than the style of the music. It's putting the structure of the song together. But yeah, it's not at all pop in its traditional sense, is it? In terms of cleanliness. You got a bit of filth in there, which we love.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's cool, man. That's cool. Go on, Benji, sorry.
I'm going to interject here. I get a few things, just to put 2 cents in here. Speaking of Bruce Springsteen and Bryan Adams, Ironically, the other day at work, when we were on break, both of them came up because Shania Twain's coming to town. It's her last tour, whatever. I could care less. I'm not in the country at all, so Shania Twain is Canadian, by the way, Mike. Just in case you didn't know that. Anyways, so we're talking about they're talking about them, and I was like, oh yeah, Bruce Springsteen. Like, and I'm with you, Mike. I'm not a huge fan either, but the two things on Bruce Springsteen was one. This was like from I'm gonna say probably 88, 89. And this was off because there's the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal every year, and this was like a cassette, mind you, a cassette. Anyways, so it had a whole bunch of different segments. It was segmented in different comics. I don't remember the comic's name, but he was talking about Bruce Springsteen, and he said, Bruce Springsteen, one of the best lyricists ever, but he made his fortune by telling you what he did that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like, I woke up this morning and put on my shoes because I didn't want to wear my sneakers. And he's like, Bruce, baby, why didn't I think of that?
There's that old adage, right? What you know, and that's what Bruce did. Like,
well, exactly, right? And then the other thing is I'm Bryan Adams. This is making not assembly. That's a complete wrong word, but a connection to one of my favorite shows, South Park. The movie Bigger, Longer, Uncut, where they're having an argument with Americans, and the Americans say, well, what about Bryan Adams? And they're like, now, the Canadian government has apologized many, many times for Bryan Adams. So there's that little connection there. But we're going to get to our first song by Western Jaguar. This is a song called Grand Parade. Dig this.
So at 18, I lost my mind. We're barreling down the 405. Oh God, didn't want to face the fact I'd sit at 24, walk behind.